shock because I thought that if he was going back east, he would go home, that he wouldn't dangle his availability in the face of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Malika, LeBron James literally put the money where his mouth is, right? Because
74 days. That's all it took for LeBron James to go from believing his career was over to announcing that he would join Philadelphia for a fraction of what he made the year before. On May 11, 2026, the Lakers were swept out of the playoffs by Oklahoma City. LeBron walked off the court without promising he'd be back. He later admitted he was fairly sure that game had been his last. Then, on July 24th, he announced he was leaving Los Angeles, not for more money, but for far less of it, to chase a championship in Philadelphia, alongside one of basketball's most talented, least predictable rosters. So what happened in those 74 days, and why Philadelphia? If you want the full story behind basketball's biggest decisions, subscribe. This one has more to it than the headlines let on. LeBron didn't need any of this. 4 championships. 4 MVPs, the league's all-time leading scorer, with nothing left to chase statistically. If he'd retired in May, nobody would have questioned it, which is exactly what makes this decision worth examining. Not what LeBron needed, what he still wanted. Before Philadelphia could convince LeBron to pick the Sixers, LeBron had to convince himself to pick basketball again. The 2025-26 season didn't start on time for LeBron. Right side sciatica delayed his debut. By the time it ended, he'd played only 60 regular season games, another reminder that maintaining an NBA workload had become more difficult. He still averaged 20.9 points, 7.2 assists, and 6.1 rebounds. The scoring matched his rookie year average, but the assists told a different story. The scoring had declined, but the assists revealed how LeBron was adapting. The Lakers reached the Western Conference semifinals before running into Oklahoma City. The Thunder swept them in 4 games. LeBron averaged 23.3 points in the series, competitive numbers on a losing team. Afterward, he wouldn't commit to another season. Reporters who cover him closely said it was the first time in years he sounded genuinely uncertain. He later confirmed it himself. He'd been fairly sure it was over. That's the part free agency coverage usually skips. Before there was a decision about which team, there was a decision about whether at all. And while LeBron sat with that question, a franchise on the other side of the country was about to have the strangest week of its season, one that would either prove it deserved a player like him or prove exactly why it shouldn't be trusted with one.
The 76ers played inspired basketball.
Philadelphia finished 45-37, good for the 7th seed. They needed a play-in win over Orlando just to reach the postseason, and got it, 109-97, without Joel Embiid on the floor. Then came Boston. The Sixers fell behind the 2nd-seeded Celtics 3-1. By most standards, that series was over. Instead, Philadelphia won 3 straight elimination games, capped by a 109-100 road win in Game 7. Embiid finished with 34 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. Maxey added 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. It was Philadelphia's first playoff series win over Boston since 1982. For a few days, it looked like the breakthrough the franchise had waited decades for. Then the Knicks swept them. 4 straight losses, the last one by 30 points. Same team, same season. 2 completely different identities, a week apart. That contradiction is the real starting point for understanding what LeBron was walking into. This wasn't a hopeless team looking for a savior. It was a talented, unstable one that still hadn't figured out which version of itself was real. And less than 2 months after that 30-point collapse, the front office responded by making one of the biggest trades of the entire offseason. Something had to give. Within weeks of the sweep, Philadelphia fired President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey and hired Mike Gansey, who had spent the previous 15 years in Cleveland's organization, to run basketball operations. Then, on July 6th, the new regime made its first real statement. Paul George, the star Philadelphia had signed to a 4-year deal just 2 summers earlier, was gone. In his place, Jaylen Brown. a 5-time All-Star, the 2024 Finals MVP. Coming off a career year, 28.7 points a night. It wasn't a clean win, and it shouldn't be sold as one. George's time in Philadelphia had been marked by injuries and a 25-game suspension for violating the NBA anti-drug program. This trade was as much an exit as it was an arrival, and Boston made clear publicly that the deal was about their own salary structure and long-term flexibility, not about handing a superstar to Philadelphia. Still, the math on paper changed overnight. A team whose season had ended with a 30-point Game 4 loss now had Embiid, Maxey, and Brown on the same roster. That's a real basketball case. It is not the same thing as a signed player, because a roster, no matter how good it looks in July, can't actually pick up a phone and call LeBron James. Somebody still had to convince him to say yes. It's easy to reduce a career like this to trade charts and cap numbers, but behind every one of these decisions is a person weighing pressure, sacrifice, and timing that never shows up in a highlight reel. That's the kind of story this channel exists to tell, so if that's your thing, subscribe. Now, back to Philadelphia's biggest problem, actually convincing LeBron. On June 30th, LeBron told the Lakers he wouldn't be returning. Weeks of speculation followed. Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, and others were all floated publicly, though none of it reached the level of a confirmed offer. Philadelphia's case strengthened after the Brown trade. Reporters pointed to Maxey, a fellow Clutch Sports client who'd trained alongside LeBron in the past, as one of the roster's more persuasive arguments. LeBron and Embiid already had real history too. Olympic gold together in Paris in 2024, with LeBron named tournament MVP. Fans even resurfaced a lighthearted invitation Embiid had posted publicly back in 2014, inviting LeBron to join him one day. None of that adds up to one person talking LeBron into anything, but it meant Philadelphia wasn't a cold destination. There was familiarity built in. On July 24th, LeBron announced his choice, and when he explained why, the answer wasn't about money or going home. According to his own public comments, it came down to whether he still wanted to sacrifice, still wanted to compete, still wanted the chance to feel like a champion again. That's the real center of this story. The mystery was never which team, it was whether LeBron still wanted the season at all. He decided he did, but wanting it and affording it were two different problems, and solving the second one meant accepting dramatically less than he had earned the previous season. Reported terms of the deal: 2 years, roughly $8 million total, with a player option attached. His estimated first-year salary sits around $3.9 million. Compare that to the $52.6 million he made in his final Lakers season. That's a drop of nearly $49 million in a single offseason. To be precise, there's no verified evidence LeBron turned down a specific $50 million offer to make this move. What is confirmed is the year-over-year salary difference, not that he rejected that amount. And that alone says something. Maximizing salary wasn't deciding this. There was a basketball reason for the number 2. A near minimum salary allowed Philadelphia to add LeBron without trading away Embiid, Maxey, Brown, Edgecombe, or another central part of the roster. On paper, the fit works. LeBron's 7.2 assists suggest he can organize the offense instead of carrying it. Maxey and Brown absorb more shot creation. Embiid remains a problem in the post when healthy. Edgecombe adds the athleticism and aging roster needs. On paper, can a 41-year-old remain effective through the demands of an 82-game season and a playoff run? Can Embiid stay available deep into May, given his recent history? Can 4 players used to needing the ball actually share it? None of that is locker room drama. It's just the real uncertainty of assembling this many stars, this fast, this late in a Hall of Fame career. Philadelphia had solved the roster problem and the money problem. The only thing left to test was whether any of it would hold up when it mattered. Philadelphia hasn't won a championship since 1983. It hasn't reached a conference finals since 2001. Those numbers matter more to the city than they do to LeBron, but they're the real weight sitting under this whole decision. For LeBron, the stakes are different. He's already won titles with Cleveland, Miami, and Los Angeles. A championship in Philadelphia would give him a 5th ring, and make him the first player in NBA history to win one with 4 different franchises. The player option in his reported agreement means this isn't necessarily his last season. It might just be his last real shot. Here's what makes that hard to sit with. Nobody involved can promise you how it ends. In one version, LeBron organizes the offense, Embiid stays healthy through May, and Philadelphia finally ends a wait that has outlasted most of its fan base's adult lives. In the other, age and injuries catch up before the pieces ever find their rhythm, and the biggest off-season story of 2026 becomes the clearest example yet of star power that never turned into fit. Both endings are sitting in the same building right now. Nobody, not Gansey, not Nurse, not LeBron himself, knows which one is coming. LeBron didn't choose Philadelphia because the Sixers had already proven anything. He chose them because they'd shown enough resilience to survive Boston, enough instability to force a major front office and roster reset in a single summer, enough talent to make a 5th ring feel possible again. He doesn't need another record. He doesn't need anyone to tell him what he's already done. He just wanted one more real chance to find out if he still had it in him to win. Whether that turns into a championship is still unwritten. That's not a cliffhanger built for this video. It's just where the story actually stands. Do you think LeBron picked the right team to finish his career? Or does this roster look better on paper than it will on the court? Drop your prediction in the comments and subscribe for the full story behind basketball's biggest decisions. If there's another turning point in the game worth this treatment, tell me below. That's usually where the next video comes from.